But one thing that did occur to me, Russell Wilson is taking the Clay Bennett route here.
In what way?
Okay. And
He's lying?
Well, no, he's not. I don't think he's lying.
Because that's what Clay Bennett was doing.
I know. He was a liar. I saw the whole thing with the emails, all that. And you guys have to correct me on my facts if I got this wrong, because there was a lot of information that was thrown at you in that documentary. Mm-hmm. But when he said he was committed to keeping the team here and even floated the idea of that stadium down in Renton, which he knew the entire time that the local politicians were never going to let any of that happen. They were never going to put up the money for that arena, right?
Right. He was asking for a $500 million arena.
Right. So
they're going for about $250.
So he could say till the cows come home, I want to be here, I want to be here. But he knew all along that wasn't going to happen. I think Russell Wilson setting this date, this April 15, oh, yeah, we're going to get it done by then. I gave him fair warning. Go ahead and get it done. It's possible that he's saying that knowing all along that the Seahawks cannot get it done by that deadline. Because what he really wants is not to push his way out of here, but what he really wants is to forgo this whole thing, get tagged, and get a new deal potentially after the new CBA.
Well, I would say to that, if that's what he wants to do, he just doesn't have to agree to a deal. He can negotiate all he wants.
Yeah, the worst thing that could happen would be the Seahawks give him fair market deal. He'd be like, man, really?
Now I got to take it.
Yeah,
But they could find sticking points elsewhere, guaranteed.
I mean, he doesn't have
to
set a deadline up to have that take place. All he's got to do is not negotiate. Have his guys turn down any offer they make.
I know, but now we're going back to the thing.
He looks bad in the public eye. Oh, right. He's being greedy. The Seahawks are doing their best. They're making efforts. They're making offers, and he's saying, "No, I want more."
But I don't think we would know.
Huh?
I don't think we would know if they were making offers.
I'm guessing that might become public somehow.
Yeah.
It always does. Outside of Malik McDowell, everything becomes public. It just does. I feel like if that were happening, it just would. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But he saves face, I guess, in this sense. That
I just don't see how he saves face. I just don't believe that unless you say that, unless he actually, I mean, we're speculating on everything on this.
Well, listen, if the deal doesn't get done by April 15th, what would you think then?
In terms of?
About him?
In terms of whether or not he actually wanted the deal to get done by April 15th.
Well, if it doesn't get done, is it because he doesn't want it to get done? Does he have to if they make an offer that is guaranteeing very little, or if they stick to their standard, hey, the first year is guaranteed, but no year after that is guaranteed unless you're on the roster by this date, then that year becomes guaranteed, which has been their protocol. And he's saying, no, I want what Matt Ryan has done. I want what Kirk Cousins has done. I want a certain amount of this.
Did those
guaranteed.
Guys set deadlines though that were 2 months long? One question I need to ask somebody:
is 2.5 months? Why is it not? Why is 2.5 months not enough time?
I don't know. I have to answer. I have to answer honestly. I would like to get Andrew Brandt, who we're going to hear from in a second, on the phone and just ask him, how long does a negotiation like this take? Does it take a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months? How long does it take?
I'm guessing they're all unique, right?
I'm guessing that. Why would they take? Why would it take? Maybe it does take a couple of months, but it can also happen in a couple of days.
It could happen theoretically with one phone call, but that's not what's going on here.
So
otherwise, it'd already be done.
Well, no, not if they don't agree. Seahawks may have made a phone call and said, "Here's what we'll give you."
No, but what I'm saying is,
guys said no.
But what I'm saying is, you could theoretically pick up a phone, say, "I want this amount," and the other side go, "Okay," and be done.
That's what I mean. So you don't need a month or 2 months or 3 months necessarily. You can do it in a matter of days, probably.
Does it seem like in this case, this is one of those cases where it could be done in a matter of days?
I bet they could get to the principle, agree on the principles. All right, this much per year, this much guaranteed. We're going to work out the fine print about bonuses. And
I think that what they're haggling on is what Bob referred to before, which is guaranteed money. I think that's the issue. I think the Seahawks know what he's worth, know what they got to pay to keep him. I don't think there's probably much disagreement about that. The disagreement's about guaranteed money and how it's going to be paid.
And he's setting a deadline. You have 2 weeks to figure it out. I mean,
you have 2 weeks to agree to my terms.
Do you think that John Schneider and Pete Carroll like being put in that situation?
But hang on a second. It's not 2 weeks. They gave him the deadline at the end of January.
I understand.
There are 2 weeks left.
I understand that. I'm saying as of right now.
Yeah.
He is giving them 2 weeks.
No, but I think some people are taking this as we just heard this. He just imposed, or his agent just imposed this deadline. That's not true.
I know that.
Seahawks have had 2.5. I just want to make sure people out there are
gotcha.
clear
But
on
if Mark Rodgers were to pick up the phone today and talk to John Schneider, it would be actually less than 2 weeks. He'd say you have less than 2 weeks to figure this out.
Certainly, but they've had all this time leading up to it. Yeah, the clock is ticking. Time you have less than 2 weeks, certainly, but it wasn't, hey, we just decided 2 weeks out to impose a 2-week deadline. Then you look at it and go, well, you're being completely unreasonable. You don't have any interest in getting this done versus, hey, we've had 2.5 months. You've had this deadline. It's not new. It's new to all of us because we just heard about it, but not new to the Seahawks.
I don't think that the Seahawks like being put in a position, though, where Russell feels like he's got all the leverage. Yeah, you know what? Get the deal done before we start OTAs, before we start any of that stuff. Otherwise, I'm not talking to you.
Quarterbacks are different. We can agree on that.
Does he have all the leverage?
And
I don't know that he
does. He's
does.
got no more leverage than any other player has.
Putting out an arbitrary date like that, Bob, I think it's an attempt at leverage, yeah.
I mean, it's basically saying, listen, we've gone this far. You've had 2.5 months. We've made no progress. I don't want this to drag out. I don't want to talk about it during the season. I want to focus on football. He's not threatening to hold out. He's not threatening to not show up or be petulant or any of that. It's like, all right, if we can't get it done by this date, let's table it till the end of the season.